About 10 years ago, I was interested in knives, and I had played with butterfly knives that my father had given me and I'd gotten from relatives of mine from the Philippines, and I wanted to build a very, very dependable knife, and I thought that the butterfly was a wonderful design.
In the early 70s, Lester de Assis pioneered the manufacture of high-quality Balisong knives in the United States. By utilizing modern aerospace technology and high-quality components, he was able to produce a durable, multi-purpose knife, which would become the pattern for most butterfly knives on the market today.
Ours are one-piece handles machined from solid pieces of metal, whereas the Filipino versions are made up of scraps of material that are hammered and formed into that basic U channel, which is the basic outlay of the knife handle. And we have a one-piece integral design where perhaps the Filipino models may have as many 7 or 8 components making up each handle, which means that they don't benefit from a singular one-piece integral design that would offer the strength that ours have become known for, and ours have actually revolutionized this particular knife and have legitimized the knife from a weak, undependable or undependable at most type product to one of the knives that's recognized by the modern world today as the strongest folding design available.
The Balisong is classified as a non-typical folder, a typical folder being a regular pocket folding knife. The Balisong itself, though ancient in concept, is truly ingenious in terms of form following function. It completely eliminates the need for a blade protecting sheath. Instead, the Balisong conveniently and safely stores in half its length, and the handles do double duty by sheathing the blade as well as quickly pivoting around to form a sturdy handle. The Balisong is an improvement over the typical folding knife because it can be opened with only one hand.
Each of our butterfly knives is made up of a blade and 2 handles as being the basic ingredients, and of course a locking latch. Most pocket knives have maybe as many as 10 working parts, and they have to have those working parts supported by handle slabs. You have liners, your inserts, and your bolsters, and those all have to be put together. And again, like the original Filipino butterfly knives, you had one part pinned or glued to another part, and the knife was only as strong as its weakest link. Whereas in our knives, you'll notice that each handle is one piece with the U shape in it. There's really nothing to break, come off, chip. There's no rivets to fail on it. It's just one piece of metal. It began the manufacturing process as a singular bar of steel, and we basically machined everything away that's not a knife handle. The knives themselves start out as raw stainless steel, and each one is hand profiled.
Construction of a custom Balisong begins with the knife maker, using an electric scriber and blade template to first trace the shape of a custom blade onto specially blended 440C stainless steel. Next, with a drill press and special drill fixtures, both the handle and tang holes are drilled into the blade. Precise holes are required for perfect alignment necessary in the final assembly stage. The hand process continues. with the knife maker carefully utilizing a grinder to make the finishing profile on the blade. Careful attention is required to prevent excessive grinding in any one spot, which would render the blade useless. In fact, a knife's efficiency and appearance is determined by the grinder. Each blade is then heat treated to produce a degree of hardness necessary to take and hold an edge. The next step entails marking the finished blades. An electrochemical etching machine and stencil are used to permanently mark each blade with the famous Balisong logo. Once all components have been completed, the knife is ready for assembly. Basic assembly of the Balisong includes hammering the tang pin into the blade, aligning the handle holes with the blade holes and inserting the pins, and finally aligning the latch and inserting the pin. Balisongs require many testing procedures to make sure the parts fit properly and work well. The blade must fold into the handle at the proper angle without touching the sides, and must lie flat, open and closed. Before each Balisong leaves the planet Pacific Cutlery, it goes through about 85 hand and machine processes requiring roughly 24 hours of labor. With the use of specially designed pneumatic squeezers, the blade and latch pins are permanently put into place. These exposed pin ends are then ground down and polished smooth. A belt grinder equipped with a fine grit abrasive is used to apply the sharp edge on the completed knife. Constant, even hand pressure is required to produce a small edge on both sides of the blade. This grinding process is one of the most important steps in the construction of the Balisong. Lastly, a hard felt wheel is used to remove rough burrs and to give the blade a mirrored, polished finish. The result? A high-quality, multi-purpose Balisong.
The popularity of the knives stems from several factors. I think the most important factor is that the knife is unique in a method of opening and closing, that in the locked and open position it's very, very difficult to disengage the lock and break it like many conventional lockback folders. Also, the methods of opening them, as some people have developed, are actually very beautiful, and you have the curiosity aspect of it, and also there's a dexterity and skill factor, and there's a challenge, and there's a challenge for people to learn how to work this particular knife and actually learn how to appreciate the nuances that our knives have and no other knife has.